Hello, hello, and welcome back to C-Suite, a CEO chat. I am Shawanna Kennedy. I'm excited to be here with you tonight as your host. Today, this evening, you know what? I go across the globe to have chats with some of the CEOs. This time we went down south a little bit. We went over to Carolina. I'm excited because my CEO today is none other than Miss Andrella Pusha. She is a 20-year retired nuclear engineer, naval nuclear engineer. I'm excited to say, look, it's as if I did it. I'm proud to know that she is one of less than 10 women to have ever been holding the position as a chief petty officer. Help me welcome to C-Suite a CEO chat platform, Miss Andrella Pusha. Hey, Andrella, welcome. Hello. I am excited. I know you busy. I had to pull her, y'all. I said it earlier. I said it before. Getting her is like pulling teeth because she is so busy. She's so busy. She have her appointments to make appointments. That's how busy she is. This young lady is known in the commercial sector for real estate. She not only is a 20-year retired. Yay. Thank you for your service. And the things, and then to know that you are one of less than, 10, 12 African-American females to hold the position, and you're a nuclear engineer. That's bad. That's some good stuff right there. When you hear people say that, because I know y'all, she try to be humble. When you hear people talk about your rank, if you will, 20 years and being a nuclear engineer, how does that make you feel though to hear other people say it?
Well, first it's exciting, right? To hear other people say it. And then I have to remember, they're talking about you. It's so crazy. One time, there was a couple years in my life when I was the only Black female nuclear engineer, chief petty officer in the entire Navy. And it was a heavy weight. I would definitely say, when you realize people are reaching out to you because you're going to that command next, you're going to that ship. And I'm like, how did you guys know? Like, I just negotiated my orders. And my friend, she was like, oh no, like, did you look at the demographics? You're the only one left right now. And I was like, oh, well, okay. So I joined to do 6, and before I knew it, 20 had gone by. And I'm like, wow, what happened to my life? It was definitely an honor to serve, and I can't take it back. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Well, I love it. You make me proud. You make me hippopotamus happy. It was as if I was there with you, knowing that those are the things that you got to do, that you chose to do it. I love smart people, y'all. I love smart people. And this young lady is definitely one of them, and do not fall short for the things and the knowledge that she has. But this is C-Suite. We get to talk about the good, the bad, and the sometimes ugly of what it looks and feels like to be a CEO. So, Miss Andrella, when we think about you being out here in this commercial sector, we know people sell homes all over the globe, but then when you go into the commercial side, that is a totally different field. That's a different beast all in itself. What made you even want to do that? How did you get in there? What's that why for that?
So I have had to answer this question quite a bit lately. So you'll see me navigate through some things. But like when I was still active duty military, I was probably around my 15, 16-year point, and I got into investing. And I already knew that when I got out, I did not want to be a nuclear engineer. The civilian counterpart job makes good money, but it's rotating shift work. And so considering that I needed to be the CEO of my life and being a mom, going into shift work just was not even an option. So I knew I needed to take everything that I'd learned, my skill sets, everything that God had blessed me with, and create something that I would be happy with. And I wanted to get into development. Like, I want to develop communities. But in Charleston, South Carolina, I did not see a clear path. I didn't see anybody that looked like me doing it. Even a lot of the firms, are family owned. They've been very tight knit for so many years. And in the military, we move every 3.5 years. So every 3.5 years, I might be here But everything that I'm going to do, everything I'm going to learn is going to help me for the next place. So I said, if I start on the sales side and then branch into development, it would only make sense. And so I started at a residential firm, a small boutique firm. And from there, I went and I started doing commercial work with commercial clients. And I am very proud to say that even I didn't even know how to just come in and sell houses. I immediately got into some leadership roles. And so I'm very proud of the work that I do on the local board of directors and at the state level board of directors level. But next year I started developers program. So I am a few years into the industry, higher than most probably even understand. Favor is not fair. Thank you, Lord. But I'm definitely walking in and doing the things that I came in to do. So that's how I got started on the commercial side. I wanted to make sure that I was very intentional about my time while I was here that was going to take me where I wanted the next 10 years of my life to look like.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now that you know that is what you're into, you're doing it. Now you're out. Because we talk about the good. That was nice. I love that. Wow, that was real sweet. Let's talk about sometimes how it can be a little tough though. Now out there and the requirements of what it is that you have to do to even make ends meet. Because we know as business owners, as chief executives, right, of our businesses, not only our life, what does that look like when you're like, this is the math is not mathing?
Some days it's ugly. You know, a lot of people get into real estate because they see the shows like Selling Sun, I think it's like Sunset or something like that. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm a nerd at heart. But like a lot of people get into real estate thinking that it is all peaches and cream. On the commercial side, it is very, very different because it's numbers, it's factual, it's about helping people find a home for their business. So a lot of times, most of the work I do is helping on the business side, just not walking people through a property. And when I first started taking on commercial clients, I remember talking to someone that had been doing commercial real estate for decades. And I remember asking him, like, what were some of the challenges that he faced? Because I believe in mentorship. Sometimes a mentor might find you, but it's always important to go out and get your own mentor. Sometimes you have to pay for them, sometimes you don't, right? And so I asked one of the folks that was mentoring me at the time, like, what were some of the challenges that he faced? And he said, before you transition over, make sure that you can go 18 to 24 months without income.
How did that hit you?
Well, because I'm military and retired, I said, oh, okay, I can manage that. I can go 18 to 24 months because 20 years of service, thankfully, and it's a blessing to be able to wake up and know that I make some people's salary by the grace of God because of what I did for 20 years. That's a safety net that I know that it's not common, right? So while God said, hey, okay, well, you did your part. Now go do what I told you to do. Go help these small business owners. I know that I make a lot of the hard stuff very simple. I like to simple speak. None of this out here is rocket science. It's not nuclear power. It's not that hard for the most part. A lot of it is figure outable. In January 1st, it'll still be the start of the new year. Go figure, right? And so while I did have I had the cushion of that 18 to 24 months, because I do have residual income and true passive income coming in. They're not the same.
We're going to talk about that. Keep going.
I was able to continue to work with my commercial clients without, the struggle of, can I keep the lights on this month? Commercial real estate, it's not the same as residential. The deals take a lot longer to close. Some of them come at a higher income, but some of them just don't. And there's a lot more problems to solve. So you really got to be in it for different reasons.
Yeah, I like where you were about to go into that. So help someone who might have even have an interest to get into this line of work, where you talked about even the residual and the passive, to help them get even a better understanding. Because, sometimes depending on what sentence is put in, they can seemingly be the same. So help us.
Okay, got it. I love real estate talk, right? And you know, helping people is, after a while, it becomes a way of life. You can't turn it off, right? So when people think about residual income, they think about things like in real estate, they think about, oh, if I'm a landlord, then that's passive income. If you still have to work for it, is it passive? There are folks right now that are landlords that are struggling with, I got this tenant, I got this problem, this store just went, and now I got to deal with all of these different issues, and I got to pray that the people don't tear my house up. That is not the same as mailbox money that comes in. That military retirement check, that is passive income. That is the money that comes on the first when I wake up. It's just there. I did a thing at one point or period of my life, and it keeps on coming. Now, there are very much passive streams of income in real estate. That might need to be a whole nother talk in itself, right? But like, there's passive streams of income where there's even levels higher than being the landlord, where the money comes without you having to fight for a tenant. Someone asked me the other day, would I be willing to, invest in properties right now? And my answer is no. But it's because when you know better, you do better. When you get exposed, you do different things. And in real estate, there's so many different levels of where to create income, where to create space for yourself, and how to grow and do investments. And I'm just not willing to look back. But passive and residual are not the same. Residual is, it's coming, and oftentimes there's some work that has to be done in order to keep it going.
So I love that. Thank you for that explanation. When I look at you as a leader, though, you being in that position and you then having to deal with your counterparts, right? Because we know you're a female. It is what it is. What does that look like when you encounter, when we talk about sometimes it could be ugly because of some people potentially may want to prefer to even work with a man versus a woman, right? You already know what we're dealing with right now in the world. Have you had to deal with that, and how did you deal with it? Even if it's not in life, when you had to run into a case where they clearly would prefer a male versus you being a female?
That's a good question. Because of my background, where, we've talked about my background, where I told you I was exposed to a wealthy side of my family and to a not so wealthy side of my family because of the schooling that I had. Academic Magnet High School is still one of the top 10 magnet high schools in the country. That's the school that I went to, and I graduated in the public sector of it for my last year. So I know what it's like where rooms where nobody looks like me, and I know what it's like to be in rooms where everybody looks like me. And after 20 years of the military, where I'm in a field where nobody looks like me, because nuclear engineering field in the Navy is not diverse at all. And after a while, I started running the room. So I might walk in a room and nobody looks like me, but pretty soon I'm the person head of the room. So when it comes to how do I deal with that, I just got to be comfortable in me first. If I had to advise somebody on what to do, it was be comfortable in you first. There's this meme that always goes around that says, walk in the room and take up space, or, you walk and the table rotates. It's cliche and it sounds easy to do, but a lot of times people don't know how to be comfortable with themselves. Early this year, I was dealing with a challenge where I realized that everybody wanted me to shorten my nails. And for me, my nails, when I first retired from the military, was like a liberation point. And a lot of the guys, they grow facial hair, but for me, I no longer had to wear 1/4 inch nails with no color. So I just let my nail tech have fun with my nails. And for me, that was my thing. And I realized room after room after room that I went in, there were people that were going to naturally gravitate towards me. Some people because they're wondering, how did I get in the room? Some people that once they meet me, it's like, wow, I need to be connected to her. I don't know what else she's doing, but whatever it is that she's doing, I want to be a part of it. And I realized sometimes the people that wanted me to change wasn't so that I could be comfortable. It was so that they can be comfortable. So my advice would be to just be comfortable with you. Just take up space. That doesn't mean be a bully about it, but when you're comfortable in who you are, the room just gets the best version of you. The world gets the best version of you when you're comfortable in you.
Thank you. That was good. When I think about and I look at you and knowing you, but I also know that you have a motto. What is it? Happiness is a choice.
It is.
Happiness is a choice. How do you use that as you walk? Because I know you believe in authenticity, being transparent, showing up in your full self, especially at this stage in your life. How do you allow that to show up in you being a CEO?
It shows up in a lot of different ways. This morning, I had to have a conversation with my child because this morning, before I even got a chance to start my work day, I am mom. You know, so CEO may come with all these different descriptions and duties. And if you've been a mom to a middle school girl, you know that those years can be emotional. And so we were talking about how what's going on. Is it course load? Is it workload? Is it kids are weird? Is it that the kids are stink all day long? And it's okay. And it's probably better if you decide how you want your day to do and then make everything else work around it. There's too much in the world that's going to come up. There's too many challenges that are always going to be thrown your way. Like God doesn't get to sit me down to the table and say, hey, little girl, let me tell you how to learn and do X, Y, and Z so you can serve all these different people that I need you to serve. He doesn't do that. He gives us these experiences. So either I can be angry because something didn't feel good, or I can know that in this moment I need to travel light and choose to be happy because he's already worked it out. Uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not coming. Uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not going to work in my favor. I don't like this doesn't mean, or unhappy doesn't mean, but I would rather be happy living my life than miserable because a gazillion things are going to happen outside of my control. If you ever looked at the number of, I looked it up with my kids one day, how many times the human brain has the opportunity to make decisions, and then you think about all those decisions that you can't control. Listen, it'll make you sit down and sit with yourself and say, you know what? It's all right.
It's all right. That is the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. And actually, it really would hurt a person's brain just thinking about that, because some thoughts you can't even control, but we do get a choice in how we choose to move through those thoughts and allow those thoughts to stay and to hold some of us up. So for somebody that's even looking and listening right now, I'm excited to know that Miss Andrella Pusha is my guest. And even in having this conversation, because we do, I say it often, we get a choice, and it's even how we allow people to treat us, right? Because, or the problem that they may have with us, or the way that we may do things as a CEO, the way that we may choose to operate and navigate through our path as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. What it is that if we're happy, right? I believe in actually saying the word joy, because of course, to some people, happiness is dictated on what is happening. But if I choose joy and I find joy in what I'm doing, and I know that's what you mean, if you're finding joy in what you do, then you can do it. You already know those are the things that keep us woke, the things that wake us up, because we have joy in what we're doing. And I say the kicker and what I get to do is that I'd be like, whoa, and I actually get paid to do this. Look at God. And I get paid to do. Right. That definitely deserves a big clap right there. Because if you can find that thing fast, that's why you're supposed to fail forward and fail fast. Learn the things, not only failing forward, but failing fast. Try the things out. Go ahead and try it out. Try it out, of course, legally. Try it out, however, so that you can figure out what you need to adjust. I'm about not making any excuses, but we make the necessary adjustment, because there are things that are waiting on us. There are people that are waiting on us. The genius that not only you have, Andrella, but the genius that our viewers may have. Somebody needs that thing. Somebody needs what you may create. We may be waiting on you to help us move faster. I know often you talk about the digital age that we're in, and all of the stuff that you've gotten the opportunity to do. How does technology work for you in your world right now?
One of the ways that it's working is it speeds up everything that I do. I'm an avid reader. My kids are readers. There's a few books that I read every single year. A couple that I started reading with them every year. Recently, I created a GPT program where it summarizes books like at the speed of light. And so when I hear about a good book, I'm able to get all those summaries. I'm able to get journal prompts. And so then I get to learn at a faster pace. You know, when we talk about failing forward, you know, there's a lot that happens in history that repeats itself. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, how all this repurposing of content and erasing history. I'm talking about the principle of, if you don't learn how to do X, Y, and Z, how it's always evolving and changing right around you in your face. Because there's nothing new under the sun, right? There's some things that are happening fast in the robotic space, right? In the world of AI, but AI is not going to, it's not going to happen so fast that we can't keep up with it if we learn how to use it. So I do use a lot of AI programming in what I do when I'm talking to my clients. Some of the consulting sessions, like I said, that GPT that I did, it was like, oh, I release it to the public soon, but I'm able to go through books like there's nobody's problem. So while my office and my bookshelf is full, it's not a capacity, I could probably fit another bookshelf in there. I probably go through about 4 books a day that maybe I'd never heard of, and I heard of the title, and I'm able to just deep dive and get so much content straight from the core of what it's about. So I do it a lot in reading. My kids they're working on stuff. So like, you know, if you look at it in our country, just without just going in on capitalism, there's so much we learn here, but there's so much intentionally that we don't learn. And as CEOs, we have to remind ourselves that this is a global economy, not just a US economy. So when I'm working in the CEO of my life, I need to make sure that my children also understand how to use these AI tools to their benefits, because they're not gonna learn it in school.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I love it because, and y'all, you already know I need that GPT. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that for the record, guys. For the record, I need that GPT. There's nothing like a good prompt. I'm just saying. And when you become a prompt engineer, hello, we're speaking to a nuclear engineer, so we know she knows how to create GPT prompts. Oh my God, I can't wait. I told you I love smart people. I need to know what is next for Andrella with all of this commercial. You are your mom. You stay traveling. You own the highway. I need to know what's next.
So other than the trip this weekend, I'm looking forward to that. So for 2025, the Urban League Institute, they do this development program for minorities, and they've never had it in Charleston before. So I'm in that inaugural class. So I'm super excited about that. I made a commitment to myself on my goal board. When I look at my why, and we talk about our why sometimes and how and all the different steps, one of it was I know that I needed to be more visible. God kept placing me in these different rooms of assignment where I knew that who needed to hear me 6 months from now didn't need me to be working at home in the office. And so I had to make a commitment to myself to be more visible and do more things to be heard and seen, because there's some people that might need whatever the skill sets are He blessed me with to help unlock some stuff in their life.
I need you to hold up.
We're always one connection away, right?
Say that one more time for the people in the back, because I'm a big proponent on being seen, being heard. And then depending on what you're doing as a CEO, you honestly do want to get paid, right? Be seen, be heard, and paid. Talk about the visibility. You got to talk about real quick. Talk about the visibility.
In real estate, when I first came in, one of the things that I saw that everything's about being seen. Oh, let me be seen, let me be seen, let me be seen. And my thing was, I don't want to be seen. I need you to see me. I need you to value me, and I need you to pay me accordingly so that when this invoice comes across, there's no confusion, right? And so as CEOs, being visible is a tool. I can't serve my clients if they can't find me. I can't help them and serve them if they don't know where I'm at. So we now create this 360-degree problem or resolution when you learn how to show up for yourself first and then show up for the people that are signing you, even if you don't know them by name.
I love it. See that? Boom, but boom, boom, boom. That's right, because I know, right. Sometimes it can be difficult because we know there are geniuses who are really behind the scenes, but then there's a way to be seen without being physically seen. There's a number of things that could be done. So I want to encourage you, yes, you, business owner, entrepreneur, even budding on your way to being one, you have to be okay to show up, because if they don't know you, they don't know you. I know that you're going to be traveling, you're doing some other stuff, you got some courses and some things like that, and I'm still actually stuck on that GPT. I'm just saying, I'm still stuck on that GPT. I want to know, if you had to say one thing to our viewers, what would that be as CEOs? What you going to say before we get out of here?
What would I say to a CEO?
Yes.
Start with who you are. Unpack it, the good, the bad, the ugly. Take the parts that don't matter anymore, throw them in the trash. Instead of carrying duffel bags or an 8-piece luggage suit, learn how to travel with a carry-on bag, because life can get heavy. Who you are, why you're doing what you do. When you're talking to people, the why is always free. The how is where it costs. If you need to SWOT your business, you SWOT your business just like you SWOT your life. You start with why you're doing something. And then that what is going to solve, it's going to answer that why. And how you figure out that what part is the action steps. Is it speaking? Is it podcasts? Is it courses? Is it a service? Is it a digital product? And that's the stuff that you learn how to monetize. Monetization is something that you can do from anywhere on the planet. When you get comfortable with this little camera, that little camera, the world becomes your audience. Serve them accordingly, serve them appropriately, and serve them well.
Love it. Don't you just love her? You'll be able to find all of Miss Andrella's information right with the show and even on my website. I just appreciate you so much for pausing for the cause, because y'all already know she got that little tiny bag that she was talking about. It's already waiting by the door with her coat, right? For us to finish and for us to get out of here. But I want to thank you for stopping by C-Suite to CEO Chat. You already know I'm your girl, Shawanna Kennedy, and I love getting to do what I do with you. So I will see you along with my amazing guest, Miss Andrella Pusha, again for another episode of C-Suite, a CEO Chat. Bye for now.
It's been a pleasure. See you soon.
This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media and Entertainment, your premier video productions and digital visibility partner. Working with business owners just like you to be seen, heard, and paid by elevating your brand with high-impact video content, online visibility strategies, and expert social media management. Ready to stand out in your industry, on and off camera? Contact Kennedy Media today, and let's turn your message into a movement, because visibility isn't optional, it's essential. Contact KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and let's boost your brand's visibility. It's time for you to be seen, heard, and known for your expertise. Contact us today.